warriors chasing gold. This game's ours, it's ours to hold. One shot left, one play to run. Make it count under the setting sun. It's game time grind. All or nothing on the line. Push through the pain. Leave it all in the rain. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. It's game time grind. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find. Victory's ours to find.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ali the Persian. This is Game Time Grind. I got my boy Steve and Mystic up here. What is going on, gentlemen? How you guys doing?
You know, I'm here, right? You know, I'm here. I'm not quite in one piece, but I'm here. You know, how you guys doing?
Definitely Mystic. I'll tell you what, Mystic. I really feel like you need to go get some vitamin C or something, because if you ain't sick, you're broken down. And one thing I do know, you're up all like early, like 5 a.m. in the morning working, right? Hosting a show in the Spaces at the same time all day long, to even on Tuesdays to come here afterwards. Man, you got to take a break. You need to get you on a vacation or something and get some R&R or something, if you know what I mean. Definitely. What is up, Steve? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Wow.
Definitely.
So close to the draft. We need to get Mystic, though, some Flintstone gummies, because I feel like he's
Flintstone gummies. Oh man, definitely some Flintstone gummies. I remember those when I was a kid. I always tried to pick out the Dino. Is it Dino, the little dinosaur that they had, right? The pet dinosaur. Yes. Yeah. I used to remember picking those out and trying to eat them. I didn't want any of the other ones. That's really funny. But back then, they weren't gummies though. When I had them as a child, they were like the hard vitamins, like the chewables. You know what I'm talking about?
The chalky ones.
Yes. That's what I remember as a child. That is funny. How was your guys' weekend? Do anything special?
I had to work, so no.
No, I had to work. Okay. What about you, Mystic? You do anything special this weekend?
No, not really.
Not really.
No,
I got you.
Hung out with the fam, really. Nothing too crazy, you know.
Yeah, I spent the day on Sunday doing a bunch of yard work. I pressure washed the front of my house and, cleaned up the yard just a little bit. Did that kind of work, you know what I mean? But Saturday I had a good time. Went over to my buddy's shop and, we kind of, had like a little nerd fest going on over there and had a good time. It was a good time with friends and whatnot. So, but yeah, man, we got a show tonight. We got a pack jam show. It starts off with the audience. Make sure you hit the like button. Share with your friends, subscribe if you're brand new, turn on the notification bell. I see Mike and the mic up in here. There's quite a few people. Big Toes, I cannot remember who that is, but shout out to him too. Went to Mexico. Is that Joe Rist? Is that who Big Toes is? Went to Mexico and back home next day. My right ear is not working. Oh man, talk about a hangover. He's dizzy and throwing up. Did you drink some tequila? What is up? Speaking of which, we have a special guest in the back. I cannot wait to introduce him. Raphael Courtright. What is up, Raphael? It's been a while. I don't like how they have on YouTube now. They have instead of having your screen name or whatever they know you by, they have like your handle, and some handles don't match the name. So that's why. And yes, tequila. I knew it. Are you a worm guy or no worm kind of guy? Just curious. Anyways, we have a special guest in the back. Cannot wait to bring this man up. I know ladies at home that are watching, keep your panties on. I know he's really handsome. Probably the best looking guy here that's going to be on the show. I cannot wait to have this guy up. But before we do, quick advertisement if you didn't know. And I'm going to throw you guys on the side here. Actually, not like that. No. We're going to do something like this. And we're going to shout out to Magic Mike's Cards. No, this ain't a Magic Mike show, if you know what I mean. Maybe the ladies will feel that way. But check out Magic Mike. Check him out on TikTok, whatnot. Some of the awesome deals that he's put out. He usually gets stuff out to you same week. I usually receive it within about 2 or 3 days normally. He's my go-to guy when it comes to sports cards. Definitely knows his stuff. Everybody, let's give a warm welcome to the one and the only Magic Mike. And with that, you know what I got to do? He has to have some kind of oh shoot. Did we lose him? No. Here it is. Some kind of music.
Magic Mike's cards! Flip that bag, let's go! Hands in the air, we're running this show! Sharp cut, shrink wrap, snap, name on the mat. We don't
The best looking guy here.
scoreboard, clock runs hot. You blink once, you miss your shot. Fastest breaks in Texas. Watch the cardboard fly.
What is up, Mike? It's been a while.
What?
Welcome back.
What
to
is going on?
Yes, welcome back to 4th and 10U, man. For people that don't know, Mike and I started this channel a while back. I want to say it was like last year, maybe the year before that. It's been a while, and we talked about it a while. But Mike and I are passionate college football fans. We just love college football, right? For him, he thinks that he's all college football because he's a Texas fan. But what he doesn't remember is that the best team in the land, the former national champs, Ohio State, whooped his ass, but that's okay. We won't hype on him for too much about that.
Oh,
up,
goodness.
What is up, dude? How have you been?
Up? Man, I'm doing good, man. What's up to everybody in the chat? Miss y'all. Man, just been rocking with this business I got going, but it's really awesome to be here with you and Steve and Mystic and getting to hash it up again and talk some college football and just kind of share what I've been doing. So appreciate the invite, guys. Super honored to be here, so I appreciate it.
Definitely. I'm all about the intros, man. The first time we had a show together, I kind of tried to go all out and give you an intro, so I had to do it. I had to make you some intro music, especially for your new venture. Why don't you tell everybody about your new venture? Tell us about what you do and where they can find you.
Yeah, man. So if you can see it here, it's Magic Mike's Cards. Started this business about 6 months ago. It's kind of taken off, guys. Like it's super fun. But what we do is I started out by doing breaks. If you're not into the card market, breaks are where you, like me as a seller. Actually, give me just a second. I buy cases of cards. And so here's a case of cards I got. If it'll show up. Yeah, so this is a case of cards. There's 20 blaster boxes in here. It's 2024 Phoenix. And so I get those, and then I set up a break where I set up 32 different teams, and I price them out at a certain amount, and then people buy into those teams. And whatever team you buy, whatever cards from that team come out of those boxes get shipped to you. And so that's how I started the business. And then ended up just kind of going from there. We got a couple investors on board. We broadcast on Whatnot, and I advertise and promote on TikTok. Occasionally, I post some stuff here. When I do go live, I usually simulcast here on YouTube on Magic Mike's Cards. But yeah, man, it's been super fun. I moved past collecting. I didn't want to collect anymore, and so I decided to spread the joy by giving my collection away. And then this business kind of just came out of nowhere and has started to really take off. And yeah, man, sky's the limit. I've got 35 cards that I'm about to send off to get graded. I got a big break on Saturday that's coming up, and it really just takes all my time when I'm not doing my actual full-time job. So, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's getting to find cards for guys like you and some of my friends and Bullet Bob. Well, we'll talk about him in a little bit because I do want to update everybody on him. But yeah, man, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys didn't know, he's my go-to guy, my dealer, as I like to call him, when it comes to cards like this. Marvin Harrison, number 14 out of 50. So give you an idea, or a JSN rookie card, that kind of stuff. So I definitely go to him. He has a special package that did not arrive in time to me to open it up on the show, but it will be opened up and shown to you guys in the next show we have. But it is a very special card. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. I'm going to actually show that on the show. But I told you guys there's going to be giveaways. Mike here has donated to the show some special, as he call them, magic packs that he's put together that we will be, I guess we'll raffle them off. We'll decide on how we're going to give them away, and we'll have them sent to you and whatnot. But there's going to be some cool stuff in there, really cool stuff. So we'll definitely stay tuned for that and the details. But you can find Magic Mike's cards, the links to both his TikTok and his Whatnot in the description of this show. You can find it there. I have it there as well. I'll also be that little graphic that I made for you. Also, I'll be advertising that on YouTube or on X as well as if you want to use that intro music for your show now, I'll give it to you. I published it, so I don't.
Yeah, dude.
I get 10% of awesome. Anything you sell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. Just messing. But anyway, hit the like button. I see quite a bit other people here. Tonk is in the house. What is up, Tonk? He wants magic packs. Tonk, you're welcome to come up here if you have StreamYard rights. Come on up. You can come on up. Michael K, I see you there. CCRR. He loves a good blaster box, as he says. So definitely shout out to CCRR. And who else do we have in here? Is that pretty much everybody? I see a lot of people watching on the X side. Come over from X, come over to YouTube, come to at 4th and 10U. Join the channel. When we get to 100 subscribers, we have about 70, so we need 30 more subscribers. We'll have our first giveaway. Some lucky follower or subscriber is going to get a magic pack. That is the first magic pack I will give away. On top of it, we have a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to be talking about spring football, right? There's some new commitments that just happened that we'll be talking about. We'll talk about the state of football, kind of where we're at with the draft just a little bit, because I know Mike wanted to bring up some topics of what's going to happen in this year's NFL draft. So we'll talk about that as well. Before we get started, Steve or Mystic, do you have anything else for the people at home?
No, I'm ready to get into this.
You're ready to get into this.
You.
All right. Well, with that being said, and I'm going to do this probably every little bit. I wanted to show off a card that's my favorite card that Mike got me. Everybody knows I'm a big Buckeye fan, and I had to take the Super Bowl winner, one of the best players on that Super Bowl team. There's JSN. Look how beautiful that card is right there. Look at that.
And it's numbered.
It's number 2. This is number... Is it numbered?
Should be on the back.
It's not. Oh, yeah, it is. 42 out of 125. So...
You know what my favorite part about that entire card?
What's up?
It's aqua and orange, which should be the color of the jersey that he wears.
There you go. There you go. In fact, that Miles Garrett, the Miles Garrett card that I got from Mike also looks like that, what you're talking about. Let me pull that one out. That's a beautiful card. Speaking of which, also, Mike does giveaways. When you purchase stuff from him, he does giveaways. I got a really cool card giveaway. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's a little bit better right there. Lance, what was that? Lance McGullers?
That's a game worn patch. Yeah, Lance
Yeah,
McGullers.
game worn patch.
Colors.
Yep. Here's the Miles Garrett card. Kind of has that aqua orange in the background. I love that.
That's pretty
Beautiful
sweet.
card. Beautiful card. So definitely shout out to him. But let's get into this. We got a little bit to talk about, and why not to start it with a 4th and 10 commitment. Yeah, college football doesn't end after the season. We're already into spring training or spring practice, if you want to call it that. And commits and decommits are happening left, right, and center. Some updates regarding certain commitments. Breaking 5-star edge Anthony Sweeney has committed to Texas Tech. Right? That's a good pickup for them. 5-star edge. I'm really excited to see what he does at Texas Tech. Not only do they have an amazing air raid offense, but they had an okay defense. There's some defensive players in this year's draft. I want to say Rodriguez, if I'm correct about that, the linebacker that they had.
Yeah, Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's a guy I'm kind of excited about. But Sweeney's a 5-star edge. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a 5-star edge rusher out of Baltimore, St. Francis Academy, ranked number 20 in Rivals industry ranking, had powers like LSU, South Carolina that was really trying to get him, but he ends up committing to Texas Tech. So shout out to him. Great, best of luck. I'm really excited for him and see what happens with his college career. In addition, here's a big one. 5-star running back David Gabriel Georges, right, has announced his top 4. 3 SEC teams to 1 the Ohio State Big Ten team. Where will he go? I want to say, if memory serves me right, all 4 of these teams in recent history has had a top running game program. Keyshawn Judkins went to Ole Miss before he transferred to Ohio State. Ohio State has always had a top running back or running game. Tennessee, oh man, famous running backs out of Tennessee. Name them off. Who can name them off for me?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was like, that's my answers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of hard for me. Tennessee, big time running back. I want to say no.
Didn't Jalen Wright?
He didn't go to Tennessee.
I can't.
Jalen Wright, Miami.
Jalen Wright.
Jalen Wright.
Kamara, Alvin Kamara, right? He went to Tennessee, didn't he?
Arian Foster too.
Arian Foster.
Yeah,
Oh,
Aaron Foster.
Yeah.
And Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie George.
Jamal Lewis was Miami. I thought Jamal Lewis was
No,
Miami.
he played for the Tennessee
on.
Titans.
Yeah. Eddie George actually did go to Ohio State, and where he won the Heisman Trophy, and then ended up playing for Tennessee. We've also had Ezekiel Elliott. More recently, we had 2 amazing running backs. We had both Keyshawn Judkins and Trevion Henderson, who both of his rookie cards were given to me by Mike. Definitely go to Mike for his sports cards. He can definitely give you a good deal. So check out Magic Mike cards.
Jamal Lewis, and that's about it, guys.
Who went to Tennessee?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's names I ain't never heard of. Travis Henry, I remember him. James Stewart, Reggie Cobb, Charlie Garner, Jay Graham, Travis T, George Cafego. Don't know any of these guys.
Yeah, you threw me through a loop there for a second. I was like, I'm pretty sure he went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking Miami.
Yeah.
But,
I think he has a name similar to someone that went to Miami. Maybe that's why. Not sure. Also, Xavier Perkins, defensive lineman, committed to Virginia Tech. So Coach Franklin strikes again. He's been like, I've said this a million times, right? The guy can set up the foundation for a program and set up the recruiting with the best of them, right? As you saw he did in this past offseason, he pickpocketed Penn State left, right, and center. But when it comes to longevity, when it comes to winning a winning program, and when I mean winning the whole thing, not just the regular season, he's not going to be the guy that gets it done. He ends up losing gas towards the end of the season. I don't understand what's going on with Coach Franklin, but that's the vibes he gives me. What do you guys think about Coach Franklin?
I don't have an opinion.
I was gonna say
I've never been.
You said
I've never
James
been a fan of
Franklin?
Franklin.
Sorry, I'm kind of in and out because I'm still working. Who is he the head coach for now?
He's now the coach of Virginia Tech. He was the Penn State head coach.
Yeah.
The big knock on him, Tonk, just so you're aware, is
he's kind of like
go ahead.
he's kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick of head coaches.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's a disrespect to Ryan Fitzpatrick. That dude
Yeah. I have a better one.
Exactly.
No, I have a better one. Here you go. You ready for this? He is the Tua Tagovailoa of head coaches.
No,
he had all this big game. He sets up
Tua-
the foundation and then can't get it done towards the end of the season.
At least Tua won a national championship in college. No.
Yeah,
James-
this dude, when we talked about him, again, we talked about this when we were talking about college coaches. This dude is literally like, you ever heard I forget the main phrasing for it, but it's like the person you're with before you find your significant other.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like the head coach version of like you're a year away from being a year away.
Oh, that's
I don't know how, as a head coach, you have a quarterback that has every tool under the planet. Like, he's not a supreme athlete, but he has one of the strongest arms in college and is good enough of an athlete that he can get out and get mobile. And you literally take him from being a first-round prospect to people talking about him as a sixth-round pick. He ruined Drew Aller.
Oh, that sucks.
He absolutely ruined Drew Aller. In fact, there's even
but Riley Leonard.
Riley
Leonard has some play right now. I mean, he's getting some talk that he could be somebody. So at least he has one guy from the offensive side of the ball that him and Barkley, and that's pretty much it. Tyler Warren, but Franklin, he's notoriously a defensive guy in my opinion.
Yeah. By the way, Mr. Magic Mike, long time no see, man. Like.
Yeah, what up,
like,
dude?
We were on this show first 5 episodes this network even existed.
Yes, sir. I remember TMI Tuesdays, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, dude. It's throwback.
Well, guess what? Ollie went and upgraded. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're talking
fine.
smack.
Well,
that's true.
So did Shake.
Shake upgraded. That's funny. All right. Well, I'm going to save the smack talking for draft week because that's when we're going to have this takeover of TFTG. So that's when we'll talk more about it. But I want to talk more college football.
I'm going to have to make a special appearance. I'm going to have to make a special appearance on that.
You better
show,
make an appearance. Definitely. Put that in the books somehow if you can. But yeah, so shout out to Xavier Perkins. He's 6'3", 240-pound defender, known for his ability to play across the defensive front, get after the quarterback. Now, I get it how we say that Coach Franklin is a lame duck coach. He can never win the big one. He also can never develop QBs, to their fullest potential, right? Drew Aller was touted to be, a Josh Allen of this QB group, right? He went from being an first overall contender to a 6th round, maybe 5th round draft pick, right? That's basically where he's dropped. but he's always had consistently good defensive players. We're talking about guys like Chop Robinson, right? We're talking about guys like most recently Parsons, right? Who plays for Green Bay now. You know, defensive players, he's always been able to find a way to develop them. And in addition, on top of it, let's not also forget that one of the better running backs in the NFL came out of Penn State, Saquon Barkley, right? Saquon Barkley played for Penn State, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
So,
he did. He did.
Yeah,
He was an absolute monster there. That's why he's had a few good offensive players.
Mhm.
He's mainly a defensive guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think as well. You know, there's been several defensive players that's come out of Penn State that, you know, has performed. So
I think,
those are my issues. I think, you know, it'll be interesting what he does at Virginia Tech. I'm kind of interested. Go ahead.
I don't think I think he's good to like, I don't know. I think like he had just his experience he has. I think he's good at, you know, bringing players in. I think he'll help build. I think he's good at building. You know, he's done a decent job, I feel, as a head coach. He doesn't win the super big games, but he's in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gets the teams to them. So, you know, I mean,
I think it's the way he loses is the problem and why it didn't work out in Penn State, because he got lopsided by Notre Dame last year. And I would argue that Notre Dame didn't even have the quarterback that Drew Aller really is. Penn State had a much better running game, I would argue, in that season. And it just didn't work out. How he got lopsided by a UCLA team that didn't have a head coach, didn't have offensive coordinator, didn't have half a team, but they somehow found a way to beat them, right? So my point is that I do agree he's not the worst coach, but he's not a coach that you can rely on to win the big one, and that's the thing. And right now with the state of college football is you go for big or you go home, right? With us paying players now and NIL deals, it's all about let's line up to continuously win. Ohio State, that's all we do is we breathe, think, and work at winning. We go bring in the best talent we can find. We bring in the best coaches because that's what it's about.
Yeah, they do.
Right? And you look at other teams like Texas, right? Alabama now, Georgia. You look at teams like even Tennessee, right? Tennessee made some strides, and they've kind of started slowly building a more of a powerhouse. Ole Miss this year. Ole Miss had no coach at the end of this season. It was a laughing stock with whatever's going on with their former head coach. I didn't know what was going to happen in the playoffs, and they got to the semifinal, right? They beat Georgia. Ole Miss beat Georgia. Who would have thought that was going to happen? I thought it would have been a cold day in hell when I saw that, if I would have made that prediction. And guess what? Ole Miss did it, right? My point is that teams are lining up to win, and they spent just as much money as Ohio State. Even this past year, Coach Franklin made the former national champion defensive coordinator that we had the highest paid defensive coordinator in all of college football, right? And it ended up blowing up in his face. It's not for lack of trying or spending. He just doesn't have the mentality to push a team over the hump. He gets them pretty close, but he just doesn't get them over the hump. That's my issue with Penn State and Coach Franklin, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Other notable win, Vanderbilt gets a huge win, big win for the SEC, grabbing a big-time tight end, Grant Haviland, 4-star tight end that I think Vanderbilt's going to definitely take advantage of. So check him out as well. Let's get in, before we get into the next topic, Mike, you mentioned someone that I'm interested in finding out a status. You want to give a status update of Bullet Bob. Tell us a little more about what's going on.
Yeah, guys. So First of all, he's doing great now. But for those of you that have been with TFTG from the beginning, he made some guest appearances back in the day, and he's been on 4th and 10U. He's my dad. And he on Christmas morning, we found out he had he had stage 4 throat cancer, and so he went through 35 radiation treatments and 7 chemo treatments. And guys, it tore him up, man. Like I had to feed him through a feeding tube and everything, but he's done with all the treatments. He's on the mend now. He's still got a long way to go. Still can't use his tongue. Still can't chew food. He'll have the feeding tube for a while, but he's up in Pennsylvania. I got to go spend a week with him. Very thankful to God to provide the means for me to go up there. It was a crazy story too, because I bought my ticket. I bought it for the wrong week, so I had to eat that 400, and then opportunity presented itself for another ticket, so I could end up going up there. But yeah, it's just been a long few months. It's been definitely humbling for him and for us as a family to see our dad go through that. I mean, anybody that's had to deal with cancer, it was my first time ever dealing with it, and y'all, that cancer sucks. It really does. I mean, what it did to my dad, the strongest man I've ever known, the most optimistic, positive man I ever known. To see him go through it, it was rough. But he is on the mend. They will be doing a CAT scan and a MRI here in the next couple months to see what the tumor has done. But y'all just keep him in your prayers, and just put that positive energy out there, because man, he's gonna bounce back from this. He's gonna be better than ever, and I think he's gonna have a newfound kind of spark for life once he can eat again, because that's been his biggest issue. He loves food, so when they had to put the feeding tube in, it was pretty rough. But yeah, that's an update on Bullet Bob, guys.
Well, my prayers are definitely with him. I'm glad that he's doing better and whatnot. And if you ever need anything, man, you know how to reach me. So definitely.
That's
people in the chat. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Through that. That's good to hear. So hopefully he'll stay cancer free.
Yeah, me and Bullet Bob agree on a lot of our football takes. He's definitely a closet Ohio State fan. Unfortunately, he parades around as a Gator fan, but I won't hold that against him.
Nice.
I love him just as much.
I don't know if I recall Bullet Bob. I'm not sure if I recall him, but I definitely I won't forget him now, especially since I'm glad you said he's a Gators fan. So
No, we won't hold
That's
the Gators
awesome.
fan thing against them.
Yeah, I won't hold it against him.
On a real shout out though, I'm glad that he's on the back end of it coming down.
You're gonna have to take your background off. I can't see it, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm not worried about it. You're good.
I got you.
I went through it. I went through it with 3 family members, so I trust me. I get where you're at. It's really tough. Glad to hear that he's on the back end though.
So one thing I do want to say real quick, Mike, before, and I don't mean to get into the sappy stuff, but I do want to just make an awareness to everyone. When you have family members that are dealing with some type of illness such as cancer, some people here may or may not know my story. My wife has cancer. I haven't really talked about that too much because I'm trying to keep it off the mind, but she does. And that being said, a lot of times that can create some mental, it's a lot for someone to take on, like, especially if you're the caregiver, maybe you're the spouse or you're a family member. It's a lot. It's very draining mentally, emotionally, soully, and everything. And the best support, not only is to, a lot of people say, hey, what charity should I donate to if I want to do something right? Well, all the charities are a good thought no matter what. But one thing you can do naturally is just be there for your friend or your family member, right? Or maybe it's a guy that you work with, right? Be there as a friend. Be there and be there just to listen. You don't necessarily have to do anything, but listen, because listening is the best healing that someone in my position or even Mike's position can get from somebody. We want someone that we can vent to or just talk to and just talk it out. And just having people there to listen and be there when we need them just to listen, that's more than enough that you can do. I know everyone has their own issues and can't necessarily donate to certain charities, But what is up, Vamos? I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, sir? But that is something that I definitely recommend to people. I think it's good. I think listening and being there eases the mental stress that someone can go through when dealing with something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Ali. I was gonna ask how your wife is doing. I didn't want to say anything until you said something first, because like you just out of respect. But I've been thinking about her since you told us. However, like that was like a month ago or so.
Mm-hmm. She's better, much better, because we did get some good news and everything. The good news is that she won't have to have the more strenuous surgery that we thought she might have to have. So that's the good news, but that's where we're at right now. Because they said even if we have the smaller surgery, they may have to go in further. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see what we're keeping our fingers crossed and our prayers and everything. But I take it one day at a time. I'm trying not to let it over my world. I'm trying to focus on my kids and this. Just keep my mind off.
Control over it.
All right, enough of the sappy stuff. Let's get back to college football. I'm sorry. I just wanted to point that out. There's a lot of people in the chat I wanted to bring up. First of all, shout out to Niners, our local community Niners fan. So shout out to him. I don't know if Mystic told you, Niners, I actually have some cards laying around that I have to send to you. I don't know if I should send them to Mystic to give you, or I'll get with you at some point. But
yeah, send him my way. I'll hold him ransom for him. No, he lives right next to me, so it's
Hall
fine.
of Fame card too, so I thought you might like that. But Magic Mike provided me some Niners cards that I figured I'd donate to you, being the one local token Niners fan that we have in the community. But that being said, shout out also to Raphael Courtright. He's saying he would take Rodriguez at pick 30 and then trade away Brooks for next year picks. Let's talk about that real quick. If we're going to trade Brooks, which is a possibility, and there's been rumors that this year there might be some crazy same day of the draft trades that go down.
Hey, look out for Dallas, guys.
Dallas, I know, likes linebackers, but
they talk about it every day down here that's the number one trade target right now to get is Brooks, so they don't have to spend 20 on a linebacker.
Yeah, I would like Anthony Hill Jr. at 30, and then getting Rodriguez possibly in that second round pick that we have. What do you guys think of that?
Double linebacker?
I mean, if it lines up, if it lines up, you're golden for the next 5-10 years with linebackers, because both those guys are rangy. Both of them. Jacob Rodriguez is an absolute playmaker. I mean, I think he had like 7 touchdowns last year. And then you've got, Jacob Rodriguez was in the Heisman running as a defensive player. Like that's unheard of nowadays. And then you've got Anthony Hill Jr., who, by all accounts, from the time he was recruited, and I'm not talking just as a Longhorn fan, but he was the most athletic freak at linebacker that out of that class. And so if you can get both of those guys, man, you pair them up. I'm telling you, you can trade Brooks away and not worry at all.
They call him the tackling machine. 128 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and 4 interceptions in 2025. That's Jacob Rodriguez. Anthony Hill Jr. is your more athletic linebacker, but he is a tackling machine too. He doesn't miss tackles very often, to be honest.
Can you pin up Overpar? He followed me over here from TikTok. It's a new fan for 4th and 10U. He just commented. What up, Overpar? Thanks for coming over, dude. It's pretty cool to see you here.
Here you go. Yo, Mike.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I tried to get my TikTok family over here, so that's pretty awesome. One of them came.
Definitely. To answer Steve, he questioned me taking double linebacker. Knowing the path that Coach Hafley of the Miami Dolphins has, his path to being a head coach and the coaches that he was around, you can never have too many linebackers. Once we trade away Brooks, you're going to have maybe 1 or 2 guys you bring in there to be linebackers for us, right? So why not have two really good linebackers. One's more of your athletic linebacker, where the other one is more of your traditional middle linebacker. Why not?
Again, it's not so much of it's back to back is the question in a draft that through all of our conversations is loaded from front to back with linebackers like Tareen York from Texas A&M, right?
That's
He's
true.
a smaller, but he's your athletic linebacker, right?
Mhm.
We talked about his name, Jack Kelly from BYU,
Yeah,
who's your
Jack Kelly. I like.
traditional middle linebacker. Like again, I'm not going to be. No, I'd be kind of disappointed if they went back to back linebacker in a draft that is so heavy at that position. Kind of like if they went back to
Okay,
back safety, I would be a little upset.
but Steve, who you? Okay, so so does that mean you want a safety and a linebacker? Because I'm questioning my question to you is if they're the best player on the board, why would you pass on them?
If well, that's why I said like it's so deep that I feel like there are going to be because when you say the best player on the board is it like does that mean everybody else is gone? I can't believe that there's all the tackles are gone, all the receivers, all the topper end tight ends, all the top end safeties are all gone, right?
Well,
Like if
yeah.
you see what I'm saying, like this draft it's loaded in weird places. Like edge isn't great. There are a lot of run stopping edges,
Yeah.
so I would prefer like if you're gonna do an early double up, you double up on edge, which is weaker as the draft goes on, or you double up at like I wouldn't even double up at safety early because I think you could still find a Jalen Kilgore who's fallen drastically throughout it. I just I don't know if we'll be in a position where you take two linebackers, but if they're the two, if everybody else is gone, I can't get mad.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's my reasoning is
Mhm.
they haven't had any luck in the first round with tackles. They haven't had any luck in the first round other than Waddle with running with offensive skill set players. Miami, and you've got these new coaches and this new GM who it seems like they want to get tough. And if you're not going to build the trenches, because the top tier talent is not there as far as edges or offensive linemen, tackles, guards, whatever. If you're not going to be able to build the trenches in the first round, you want to build the linebacking core because they run the defense. You want to either get a stud top tier safety that has the ability to make the wear the green dot, whatever. But if you come into this draft and you're able to grab Jacob Rodriguez and Anthony Hill Jr., both of them can alternate green dot. You don't have to worry about which one's which. And you shore up the middle of the field, which until Brooks got here, it's been a huge issue for Miami for decades is linebacker. And so I think that if you're able to get I wouldn't have a problem with that double up. Now, if you're doubling up and you're taking Anthony Hill Jr. and the next linebacker, because I don't think Jacob Rodriguez is going to be there, but if he is, and you take Jacob Rodriguez and Anthony Hill's on the board, I think that's a smart double up. But if Rodriguez is gone and Anthony Hill is the only one left available, then I think you grab him and then maybe you move to safety or you try to get some DB or you trade back because I just think that the chance that you have to shore up the middle of the defense is something you have to do because it's just been such a weakness for us for so long. Other than Jordan Brooks, I mean, until we got him, y'all go down the list of linebackers Miami's had. None of them have been what we needed. And so I think if they are changing course and they are changing direction, I think Brooks is gone. I actually think A-Chain is a legitimate trade target on draft day, and they're resetting this entire organization. And if they do that, as a lifelong Dolphins fan, it's the first time I've had hope in forever because it's signaling that they really are clean. They are starting fresh. They are starting over. And so if you're not going to be able to get a quarterback on the as the best player right there, or you're not looking for a quarterback, the next best thing to do is get your quarterback for the defense. And if you can grab two, I say do it, man, because it frees you up to go after cornerbacks in free agent market, go after safeties in the free agent market, go after some of these tackles and guards in the free agent market, because you have your middle of the defense set. And our defensive line is not too shabby. I mean, it could be better, obviously, but it's going to be good enough if we can get, because just having Jordan Brooks is great, but if you got two guys that can play ball at linebacker, man, that's your Sam, that's your Mike. I think it's the way to go, but I just wouldn't have a problem with it personally.
Real quick, Steve, what I was about to just say, I'm not saying that we should do that. It's just that I wouldn't mind it if we doubled up somewhere. That's kind of where I was going with it, to be honest. It doesn't necessarily have to be linebacker, but I like Anthony Hill and I also like Jacob Rodriguez. Those are my two favorite linebackers in this draft, to be honest. And you saw in the combine, Anthony Hill had a explosive a 40-yard dash. So so for me, that is definitely kind of why I was bringing that up. Real quick, I want to bring up this topic. Someone messaged me in my DMs. Will another content creator of the community posed this kind of question? They didn't really pose it, but he brought up the topic. So I want to see what you guys think. Does Caleb Downs get past 11?
No.
To Dallas at 12?
Nope.
No
He's going to be gone in the top 10.
I think so. But if he's on the board at 11, does he get past us?
No.
I
Not
don't
in this
see a world
defense.
that you say no to him. I don't see a
You
world
don't.
that you do. Let's say Mansour
But-
Delane is not there. If it's Mansour Delane and Caleb Downs is there, what do you do then? Because I like both players
Caleb
for
Downs.
different reasons equally.
Downs.
Caleb Downs.
Caleb
Downs
Downs,
by a mile. Yeah, he's other than Sonny Styles, to me, Reuben Baines, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs are all your three top defenders in this draft. And Caleb Downs is my favorite out of all three.
Can I make an argument also that we have a deeper corner room than we do safety room right now?
yeah,
Who's your starting safety? Lonnie Johnson and the kid we got, Dante Trader?
Who's
I mean,
your
we
starting
have-
corners though?
Darrell Baker, David Baker, who is actually kind of solid for the Titans. We have young guys that we kind of liked through maturation. Alex Austin, I forget, from the Patriots is.
I know we got
23
Marshall
years
last
old.
year too. We have him also.
Yeah,
So-
Jason Marshall. You have, like I said, the kid from the Patriots who's only 24 years old. We have Storm Duck and Isaiah Johnson still, which
Storm Duck, I forgot about him. Damn.
both of them showed a little development that you can work on there. Like you have guys in those corner rooms that I think you could still pull a Will Lee or a Igbinosin in the third day two that you
I
can
like that.
still
David
put
Igbinosun.
as your
Mhm.
that you could put in that room. Like again, you can do that in safety because like we talked about, safety is the deepest class the deepest part of this class. But
Mhm.
it's Caleb Downs, it's Thieneman, or however you say his last name, because I always butcher it.
Thieneman.
And then McNeil Warren, and then for me, it starts to go a little bit.
Look, McNeil Warren, I will take McNeil Warren all day long. Not at 11, but around the 30s, I would definitely take him. He's out of, if you didn't know, McNeil Warren, Mike, is out of St. Petersburg area. That's where he went to high school. And he played for University of Toledo, where I'm from originally. So
I know McCoy. I know McCoy's a hot name too for the first round as far as a cornerback.
Gerard
Drew
McCoy.
McCoy, I think Gerard McCoy. And so I know he's coming off injury or something like that, but I know he's a hot name too at cornerback. I'm hoping they don't do the typical Dolphin thing and take an injured guy, but he's somebody that I could see going in the top 15, 10 to 15 range. But Thieneman right now, I think that it makes too much sense for Dallas. They got his former coach. They've got a guy that worked with them intimately. But the only downside of that is that he hasn't been on a top 30 visit to Dallas, and Dallas notoriously does not take people they don't visit with in the first round. So that's the only argument against it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Miami does, but I'm also interested to see. Like, here's a name as far as DB. I think a guy that goes on the move is Terrion Arnold. They were talking about that on the radio this morning because he's got that legal trouble where his friend supposedly kidnapped somebody, blah blah, and Detroit wants to get rid of him. I take a chance on Terrion Arnold if he's not expensive, and because he's if he's right, he's an absolute stud, and that shores up the corner one side at least for our cornerback room and gives us that guy that people can learn from. He is a veteran. Well, at least he's played a little bit, but so I think that's a guy that could be on the move too as far as DBs.
I gotcha.
I also want to, just because the news came out while we were live, there's according to where's the name at? Because it is an actual legit person. Tony Pauline put out that Jerron McCoy's knee injury is starting to look sound like it's a degenerative condition, and it's popping up for red flags. Now, that could be the draft talk happening, right?
Just like they did for Caleb Downs, if you remember.
Yeah, this could just be the draft talk playing games, right? You know what I mean? It's the week before the draft. You know how that stuff works. But if that knee issue, which was my question, of if he could be, because that was the only reason he wasn't my pick at 11, was I worried about the knee. If that's truly an issue, then man, I don't know if he goes in the top 20 anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
At least we don't have to worry about Greer taking his ass.
Well, that was me with Jordan Tyson too. Like, Jordan Tyson for me is the best wide receiver in this class, but he can't stay on the freaking field.
Yep.
So,
I think that changes now with the Dolphins. I don't think we're going to go after damaged goods anymore. We'll leave that to Dallas.
Mystic, I'm sorry we lost you, man.
I hit the wrong button. I was looking at comments, and hey, I do that sometimes.
No worries, man. You've been kind of quiet. You okay, bro?
Yeah, I'm just hanging in there, you know.
What are your thoughts? Just to kind of get you in the conversation here. What are your thoughts about the Sharon Moore news?
You know, I thought that was quite interesting. I mean, the guy still had some, obviously, you know, there's things you just don't do.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very interesting to hear that, you know, there was information withheld from the investigation and all these other really not so good looking things, you know, if you look at the law enforcement, right? Like, the dude did enough wrongdoing. You didn't have to try to make it look worse. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
For people that don't know, Sharon Moore is the former head coach of the University of Michigan, right? Who had a inappropriate affair with a staffer and was dismissed because of probable cause, essentially. And I guess there was some type of altercation of him.
He crashed out.
Well, that's what there's some news coming out that we didn't necessarily have all the information. So what we believe may not be exactly what happened. Just going to point that out. So there was certain charges that they dropped. And then he pleaded no contest and he avoided jail time, essentially, is what we found out today. So that situation is really weird. The whole saga of what went down with Sharon Moore, it's just crazy. Is it me and I'm not trying to, I know my Ohio State fandom is coming out and I'm sounding like a hater of Michigan or whatever, but it just seems like Michigan has found its way into more and more Jerry Springer action, if you know what I mean. It seems like it's one ridiculous story after another. You know what I mean? The best thing that happened to them is them winning the men's national championship game and for March Madness this year. That's the best thing that's happened since they won the national championship of college football. And to be honest, it's been a roller coaster down since, to be honest. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is this the last of the storylines and the craziness we'll hear from Michigan? Or do you think there's more to come?
We'll always hear new storylines. I think that's what they like to do. They love to find ways to keep their name in the media, right?
Yeah, they find a way to get away with it all the time, bro. And it's just very interesting. Very interesting. Mike,
Yeah, dude.
do we have you for more time, or you got to head out or anything, or are you good on time?
Nah, I'm here. I'm here for the long haul, bro.
All right. So we're gonna get into the next topic. Before we get into the next topic, I want everybody in the chat hit the like button. There's 45 people watching right now. Make sure if you're on the X side, come over to YouTube, come over to @4th and 10U, join the chat, subscribe if you're brand new, turn on notification bell. You get a lot more of the experience on the YouTube side than you do on the X side. So I appreciate everyone watching, but definitely come on over and join the chat. That being said, we're going to get into a new topic. So let's get into it. Spring games are upon us. The spring football games have already started. And it's been hell of a off season and craziness. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of competition. There's a lot of competition on all fronts with a lot of these teams this year. And we're going to break it down and kind of get into it. Steve, do you want to start us off with kind of breaking down spring football when it comes to the college program and the rules and stuff? Do you want to kind of break it down for us?
I can give a quick breakdown. I mean, it's very similar for those in the who watch the NFL. It's very similar to our training camp and OTAs. It's a lot of testing out your depth and like competition amongst your depth on your roster, seeing who might stick out. All culminating with a what's the word I'm looking for? A scrimmage-esque game between your roster, just to really put them through their paces.
I got a breakdown for you.
Hold on one second, Tonk. So you said it's very similar to how the NFL has the offseason program. There's limited amount of OTAs that they can have and practices and whatnot. Just to kind of give you a little bit more broader, they have a 34-day window of practices and their spring game that they're allowed to have. They're allowed to have a total of 15 practices during this entire window. And it's pretty much spent transitioning new players to the team, let it be through transfer portal or new recruits or early enrollment, getting them into the program, getting them situated, knowing their role, learning the playbook, certain techniques, fundamentals. Those are the stuff that you're going to see in the college spring practice and eventually spring games. You said you had a breakdown for us, Tonk. What do you got?
Yeah, our breakdown. The breakdown was our super boxes after they got zapped.
Oh, okay. But I will have to tell you over after the show, there might be a way to unzap your box.
Yeah, all right, good. I'm glad I said something. I need my shit unzapped.
I will have to tell you, it's a little bit more complicated, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I bought a freaking surge protector.
Wait a minute, it blew out.
No, I'm kidding. I was making I got it. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
It wasn't lightning zapped. It was
I know what you're talking. I got you. But if
you better calm down. You better calm down. Talk about the lightning now. When lightning strikes, Mystic gets a little upset.
Okay,
yeah, he does, especially when his ducks.
What are you part-time Loki?
No, he's making a hockey joke, bro.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what are you?
Speaking of hockey, our resident cards guy here. If you pull any Anaheim Duck cards anytime soon, or you find any Beckett Seneca rookie cards, you just reach out to your guy here.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, That it's funny. It's funny because I was actually at a store today looking at their hockey boxes. They had a sealed 1992 platinum hobby box, but they had it way overpriced, so I bailed on it. But yeah, I'm starting to
Oh,
get into
yeah.
hockey too.
Still,
Yeah.
just seeing that though, that's pretty sick. Just seeing that though.
Since you're talking about 92, okay. If you get any of the like mid 90s sets, I'm looking for Sergei Fedorov, Dino Ciccarelli, Shanahan, any of the guys from the 90s Red Wings. Okay, that's who I'm looking for. And then if you want, you can throw in some of the other team from that era, the freaking Colorado Avalanche players too. You can throw them in as well. So, because
Don't forget about the great one.
I'm sorry. Wayne Gretzky, yes, he is definitely the great one. However, in my opinion, the mid 90s was dominated by either the Red Wings or the Colorado Avalanche. That was the best rivalry, best hockey games of all time. I call it the golden generation of hockey. That's what I call it. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I got a surprise. I'll go pick up. They're pretty cheap over at the shop, so I'll go pick up all the packs they have, and I'll probably get that box and send it to you.
He's just twisting my arm, bro. I gotta pay the other person I owe money to. I gotta pay him now next.
Oh no! This is on the business. This is a gift to Ali. That's all it would be.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate it. Just so you know, I'm a huge Red Wings fan. I got to meet Gordie Howe, if you know who Gordie Howe is. He is Mr. Hockey, as I used to call him. But yeah, I growing up in Northwest Ohio, we had a minor league hockey affiliation with Detroit Red Wings called the Toledo Storm. And I don't know if they're still there. I think they may have changed the hockey name now. But I used to go to hockey games a lot and big Red Wings fan. Okay. That being said, let's talk about spring football, right? So there are some matchups. We have a resident Iowa boy in town. What is the state of the Iowa Hawkeyes? Tell me what's going on there.
You know, I know there's definitely a quarterback battle going on. I can't tell you the dude's names right offhand. Unfortunately, I need to look that up. But I know the one name that I could tell you that everyone's talking about is crazy enough is they got this wide receiver transfer. His name's Tony Diaz. They call him Boogeyman. I think it's hilarious. I don't like buying into hype of this stuff. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny just kind of hearing people talk about it and just watching some of the tape that they're doing with, these drills and the deep balls. And the kid doesn't really drop anything in his radius. Like, the quarterback throws it there and the dude find a way to make the catch. Like, contested, whatever you will. Like, the dude is finding a way to come down with the ball. Like, it's pretty crazy to me. So very interesting to see how Iowa goes about that. If you know Iowa long term, they're all about just running the damn football. So it's very questionable, if you will, if you'll get a high production wide receiver. But definitely someone to keep an eye on. Tony Diaz is the name that everyone's talking about currently.
Yeah, I've also heard regarding the QBs, and actually, what is their QBs? Is one of them Hank Brown, I think?
I'm literally looking that up right now.
Yeah, I think there's a couple guys. I know that's a huge battle going on right now with Iowa. I'm not so worried about their defense. Iowa always has a strong defense. So, but I think the biggest competition is going to come in that QB battle. Mystic here is kind of on cloud 9 because the Miami Dolphins hosted Iowa Hawkeyes Gronowski, the quarterback, today. So he's kind of on cloud 9 right now. Mike, what's going on with Texas?
Yeah.
Give us an update on Texas football.
So real quick here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, real quick. It's Hank Brown and Jeremy Hecklinski.
Yeah.
Hank's out of Auburn, and Jeremy is a sophomore from Wake Forest.
Oh shoot, we lost Mike. Mike, you might have to rejoin. He'll probably be right back. Yeah, that's going to be a big matchup. I know, like with the Hurricanes, I think they have a big matchup too. The Miami Hurricanes.
Daniel Mesa, or however you say his name,
Mhm.
and Mensa, and then they have I think he's now a second year quarterback that they were kind of high on before Mensa got there.
Coleman. I think his name's Coleman. I could be wrong about that.
Might be.
Yeah, so I know Miami has a quarterback competition. Tennessee has a quarterback competition going on now as well. You have Faison Brandon, George McIntyre, and Ryan Staub fighting for the number one spot. That's like a war if you really want to look at it. Who else has a QB competition going on?
LSU with Sam Levitt.
Yeah. And here you go, Mike. Sorry, we lost you for a second. You're back.
My camera shut off. My microphone didn't work. I was like, let's just refresh.
Yeah, sorry about that, dude. So,
You're good.
real quick, we just catch you up kind of where we are at. Miami has a quarterback competition. Iowa has a competition. Tennessee has a QB war, a three-way war going on, right? So, all these QB competitions going on. What is the state of Texas football? I'm kind of worried. Last season did not go the way that you expected it to go. You and I kind of talked some shit back and forth in regards to who's going to win that first game of the season, which should have been a primetime game, to be honest, because it was a very, battle. I call it a battle because of the way that both teams played. But Arch Manning did not perform the way that people were expecting.
He did towards the end of the year. I mean, he still finished with 3,100 yards, 399 rushing yards, 37 total touchdowns. I mean, that's a damn good season for anybody. So he did finish the season well. He just didn't look like that number one Heisman favorite. But I saw him. So for me, what Arch Manning looked like toward the end of the season was a freshman that finally got his legs under him. And so he started to play better. He started to have more confidence. And so I do think it's going to be, I think he puts up this year. It's either put up or shut up, for obviously, but he's got a new weapon that, Ryan Wingo's great, and everybody needs to pay attention to Ryan Wingo. He will be a star in the NFL, but they got this kid Cam Coleman that transferred in, and him and Arch Manning are connecting like nobody's business right now. So look out for Cam Coleman as far as the offensive side. I do think he's a name to watch. Still don't know what we're going to do at running back, but I trust Sarkisian, and I think it's going to be more pass heavy anyways. But the biggest thing is the trio of true freshman linebackers. We got Tyler Atkinson, Rocky Cummings, and Kosi Akpala, I think is how you say his name. But those three guys are making waves at practice and in the spring training or whatever you want to call it. So as far as the state of Texas football, Sarkisian's got to win. And so this is the year where, he's if Arch Manning's not the guy, then he doesn't need to waste time by not going to Diabell. So I don't think there's a competition. I don't think there's any chance of that, but I do think that Texas has a gift behind Arch Manning and a very capable quarterback. But I pay attention to Cam Coleman and Arch Manning's connection this year, because out of Austin, that's the biggest thing they're talking about right now.
Yeah,
Ollie,
definitely. Ryan, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, go ahead.
You know this from our conversations earlier in the backstage. We all had a conversation about a Jeremiah Smith. Mike, I have Cam Coleman as my number 2 wide receiver next year. That kid, nobody's talking about him. He was at Auburn. That kid has everything you want. He was a great pickup for what Arch needs.
Oh, I agree. I think it was sneaky. The best transfer in the transfer portal was getting Cam Coleman for what we needed, because losing Xavier Worthy, losing Matthew Golden, Ryan Wingo, now the number one guy, he didn't have anybody to take the pressure off of him. We've got a couple guys that are, they'll show up on 3rd and long or whatever, but as far as the guy to really latch onto, that's Cam Coleman, and I agree with you. I think he's an absolute stud. It's going to be really fun to watch this year.
Cam Coleman is the transfer out of Auburn, right?
Yes,
I think in the right. Okay. All right. Yeah, Cam Coleman is definitely a hell of a pickup. One of SEC's top-rated wide receivers, especially in the transfer portal. He was one of the better wide receivers in the transfer portal this year. So definitely a great pickup for Arch Manning. I do like Ryan Wingo as well. I don't think people should sleep on him. I will say, though, hold your bridges on being the number 2 best wide receiver, because as Ohio State does every year, we go get the best talent we can find, right?
How do y'all, Steve and Mystic, how do y'all put up with this Ohio State bias, man? I ain't even been here in months and I
you
still
don't-
have to listen to this.
Mike, you don't understand. Steve's on my board because he's a big fan of Ohio State South now.
South.
So
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are now
Okay,
Ohio
okay,
State
okay.
South.
we are Ohio State
Oh,
South.
that's
Ohio
fair.
State South.
Yeah. So here is what I will say. Chris Henry Jr., right?
He's a stud.
The son of former NFL standout, right? The late Henry. And this kid already looks really good in camp from what I understand, right? So you have Chris Henry Jr., but they have another guy, wide receiver that transferred to Ohio State. And his name is, which I'll tell you in a second, Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker might be the third, if not, could even match Chris Henry's Junior's production on the field next year. And the reason for that is he has a connection with the wide receivers coach who was LSU's former wide receiver coach, right? So there's some connection there. But what I will say is that from what I'm hearing, he's blowing it up too, if not just as good, if not better than Chris Henry Jr. And Chris Henry Jr. was the most sought after wide receiver in the last recruiting stage. So for me, I get what you're saying. Cam Coleman being the second already. Okay, maybe.
No, but that's not what I was saying, Ollie. That's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying in college. Remember we talked about the draft next year.
Are you talking about the draft overall in draft?
Yes.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. I thought you were saying number 2 in college is like, hold the brakes. There's a lot of good wide receivers out there. Let's see what happens here. And also a upcoming name that you should know, Mike, since we haven't got to talk and you haven't heard my Ohio State rant in a while. A guy that you need to kind of keep an eye out is let me find his name real quick. Here we go. A guy named Legend. He's an athlete who originally he was supposed to go to Ohio State. That's where he wanted to go. Had the Ohio State shirt on his day that he was going to decide and everything and all that. And then his parents forced him to commit to Tennessee because of the whole Brian Hartline thing, right? Cam Legend.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening is when he turned 18, he said, screw this, because they signed his intent letter and he said he never signed it. They signed it legally. And he ended up going to Ohio State anyways. This kid I'm hearing is going to be, I heard he's blowing it up. Like people are really high on this kid. Keep an eye out on that name.
Yeah, will do.
That is my end. That's all I'm going to talk about Ohio State. I wasn't even going to get into how I think this is going to be what's his name? Jeremiah Smith's best year yet. And I actually do think that Arch Manning is going to have a fight with Julian Sand because I think Julian Sand gets in the Heisman picture again. I think that happens.
I don't even care if Archie gets. I don't give two crap about Arch Manning winning the Heisman. I want Arch Manning to play ball. I want him to go out there. I want him to have fun. I want him to relax and trust his skill set. If he ends up doing that, then I will remember this and bookmark this to come back and talk to you at the end of the season when Julian Sand finishes second.
I mean, if he plays at Heisman level, then they'll be ranked. They'll definitely make the playoffs. So, I mean, that would be good enough for me as a fan. Like and now, I mean, at least nowadays in the playoffs.
No. Yes,
But is
normally you'd be right.
Is he going to win a championship? I don't know.
I don't know either. But Texas has to stop making the playoff just to lose. They got to win. If they're going to make the playoff again,
exactly.
They better win this time.
Mystic, what were you saying?
I apologize.
Go ahead.
No, and it has nothing to do with football. My wife had said something about basically something that came out in the local news that there's a documentary coming out about a serial killer in Iowa that just came out, and she's like, "This is the town," and I'm like, "Well, this is where the town's at, and it's about 2 hours away." Sorry.
How am I not surprised?
There's been some crazy stuff coming out recently. I've
Hopefully
been
your
seeing
wife.
stuff about
Hopefully
that.
your wife carries.
Hey, I can't say nothing. Mike here lives in a state that some of the most realistic horror, like real life horror stuff happens in Texas. Like
Yeah.
a massacre. Let's
Yeah,
not
the
forget
Dallas
about
Cowboys.
It's true.
Hey, that's the greatest. That is the greatest joke you've ever told, Tonk.
Yeah, it is. That is actually the greatest joke you ever told. Actually, I have a Dallas Cowboy question, right? And it does involve the Miami Dolphins. We have some Miami Dolphin fans here. So I remember 2-3 seasons ago, we got Cedric Wilson Jr. Everyone was very upset in Dallas because they thought he was young and he was good, and they really hated to see losing him to the Miami Dolphins. This year we signed Tolbert. What are the Dallas hopefuls saying about Tolbert?
Tolbert never broke through. He had every opportunity to become the number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb. I think he has great potential, and I think in the right system he could be used right. But he never quite broke through. Never reached his ceiling. He definitely has. I mean, they're not going to miss him. I'll tell you that. Not down here.
Gotcha.
The only thing I can ever remember about Tolbert is what he did to Xavier Howard.
No, but I think he's he has a chance to be a really solid number 3, but I don't think he'll ever be not a noteworthy name. I wish they would have gotten Flournoy. That's a good name that y'all need to remember, because Ryan Flournoy, I think he has immense talent at the wide receiver position. And he had one game last year where he had like 8 catches for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns when CeeDee Lamb went out and George Pickens was, I don't know if what was going on with him, but yeah, I wish they would have gone after him. Anyways, but Jalen Tolbert, he's nobody to write home about.
I have more hope out of Tutu Atwell, who's like 3.
I like Atwell.
I think that's
I like Atwell a lot.
Too. I think it's a sneaky good signing, to be honest. I like Tutu Atwell. I like kind of what we did in the offseason. I think the offseason overall for the Miami Dolphins has been really, really good. It's a breath of fresh air, I would say. We're making good deals and good signings at the same time. I'm just curious. I have this feeling this year's draft is going to be more on it's going to be defensive heavy. I think they're going to focus more on the defensive side. Some people are thinking.
I think they need to.
Well, there's rumors that Steve has pointed out that Miami is considered getting 2 wide receivers in the first 3 picks. I don't think that's going to happen.
First 3 rounds.
First 3 rounds. I honestly think it's going to be more on the defensive side that they're going to really focus on. You might have a wide receiver in there, but I don't think it's going to be like that. Go ahead.
If Miami is serious, this is the draft to do your defense. Next year's draft is where you reinforce your offense. And I think that's part of signing Malik Willis, is I think they recognize that as well, that they're not in a position to get anybody on the offense that's really going to matter this year. But they can really shore up their defense this year. And then next year's draft is loaded with offensive talent. And so I think that's where if Miami is going to do this right, this draft has to be defense. Mm-hmm. Next year has to be offense, in my opinion.
I don't think you need to do one or the other. I think you just need to take the positions that this class offers, because I do believe you should take at least 1 wide receiver in the first 3 rounds, because there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent there, and 1 pick out of those for your wide receiver and 1 for a offensive lineman, I think makes a lot of sense, just to help Malik Willis out. Because also with getting Malik Willis, let's also keep in mind he got hurt in limited snaps last year. He played.
Malik Willis is a straight stopgap. That's all he is. They just shored up that they have a veteran on on the team, and they're going to get a young. But I think they take a quarterback next year, personally.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Would you take in, let's say, late third round, maybe fourth round pick? Would you take a shot at Drew Aller?
Man, I don't know.
Not even Drew Aller. Not even Drew Aller. The kid from North Dakota. Yeah.
I don't know, because they've already got that guy on the bench. They've got the project. They've got the guy that they think could be something in Quinn Ewers. And so why are you taking another guy who hasn't jumped off the page? I mean, Drew Aller 100% fell off a cliff, so you don't know what he's going to do. The other quarterback you mentioned.
You think he's still the guy?
No, I think he's the same type of quarterback you'd be drafting if you drafted Aller, or if you drafted the other guy. You're hoping he could be something. You don't know, but I'll say this about Quinn Ewers. He showed me last year he can make all the throws. And so, like, if Malik Willis, he's a game manager. It's all he'll ever be. That's what I think Drew Aller is. I don't think there's any game changers. I don't even think Fernando Mendoza is a game changer. I don't think there's any game changers at quarterback this year. Next year, that's a different story. And so I think Malik Willis is just a stopgap. It's an insurance plan. And they're hoping that Quinn Ewers beats him out. But if he doesn't, and Malik Willis is your starter, it's only to get you to next year, period. And then that's where I think you could see an Achane, whatever you want to say. You can see him moved for a first-round pick, because they are set up to get a quarterback. But if they take a quarterback this year, it's the same old Dolphins, guys. There's way more needs than a quarterback that you're hoping could be good.
I don't disagree with that, but I would be okay with a late round draft pick of a quarterback, only because the fact that I think you should do that every season. I think every year you should draft a quarterback.
I would say round 5 through 7, I'd be okay with it. Rounds
so
1 through 4.
If Drew Aller's in the 5th round there for you, you would be okay with it, is what you're saying.
I would be okay with it. I just don't think this regime is going to make the same mistakes as the former one. I think they've learned. They know that there's no quarterback worth a roster spot in this draft over their needs.
I mean,
they need more. They need offensive linemen. They need linebacker. They need DB help. I mean, DB is, we just talked about it. It's a deep room. They still need DB help. They still need safety help. They still need wide receiver help. They still need tight end help. Like, they need help everywhere. You're not going to get if you waste I believe it's a wasted pick on a quarterback in this draft, because you don't have, you're not set up for a quarterback right now. So if you were set up, it's different. If you had the offensive line set up, if you had the defensive line set up, if you had your linebacker room set, then go ahead, take a flyer. But why take a flyer when you're not even set up for him?
So here's the thing. Defensive line, I do think we are already set up. We spent 3 draft picks on defensive linemen last season, and I think that they kind of like where they're at there. I don't expect us to draft a defensive lineman. Edge, that's a different story. I do think we do need to take a crack at edge, but I also think with one of these 2nd or 3rd round picks, you could definitely get offensive linemen for sure. You want a tight end? No worries. Get your tight end in the 4th round. His name is Sam Roush out of Stanford. Best tight end overall blocking and catching in this draft. Why he's falling is because people think that he has short arms. He doesn't have short arms. He's going to be the next Dalton Schultz or someone like that can really get down the field and block when you need him to. He's the guy that put one of the Bosa brothers on his ass every time he played him. So just going to point that out. So go get Sam Roush, right? And then what you talked about, corner and safety. You can do that with your first 2 picks, right? Go get Mansour Delane and go get McNeil.
Still got linebacker.
Linebacker, okay. You have 2 2nd round picks. Use one of them on that. You know what I mean? There's guys we can have. I mean, there's things we can do. I understand what you're saying, but if you're in the 5th or 6th round and a guy like Drew Aller's on the board, I'm going to take that shot in a heartbeat. I might even do it in the 5th round because I'll tell you
that's old Dolphins mindset, Ali. It's a guy that there's a reason he's still available in the 5th round. There's a reason they're still available in the 6th round.
The reason that he is because the freaking coach that he had didn't know what he had. You're talking about a guy that has a much stronger arm than both Tua and Quinn Ewers put together, right? A guy that can run and get you down the field when you need it. He can be a gunslinger, but guess what? The coach wouldn't let him do it. The coach wouldn't let him do it because he didn't know how to coach QBs. That's Coach Franklin's problem, right? You had a guy that everybody calls him the mini Josh Allen because when he's on it, he's on it. And the point is that when you have a talented guy like that you can get at a lower cost than paying a first round or trading up to get him or whatever, why not? You already said he's a stopgap guy that we have in Malik Willis. You already said that Quinn Ewers is a project. I'm sorry, he's not a project. He's never been the guy. You yourself said that on Texas campus grounds, people call him the right-handed Tua. He was never going to be the guy. He was never going to be the guy.
I agree.
In the biggest moments, he couldn't get it done. Strip sack against you know who I'm talking about and take it out. That's what is going to end up happening with Quinn Ewers every game. He does something.
And honest to God, if they take a quarterback in this draft and they pass on the quarterbacks in next year's draft because of it, they're a joke.
But see,
That's my
what
problem
I
with
don't think
taking a
they'll
quarterback
do,
in
though.
this draft.
I don't think any quarterback in this draft, and that was the point I was about to make, was I don't think a quarterback in this draft stops you from getting a quarterback next year. What I would say, and kind of to your point of same old Dolphins, well, I would say them taking a quarterback this year and actually having quarterback competitions would be the opposite of same old Dolphins, because one of our biggest problems over the years is we've stuck to one guy for way too long without getting actual competition for him to push him in or out of the position, right? So you
Oh, they
get
did. They did have quarterback. They did have quarterback competitions to his freshman year or his rookie season with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but they just went with Tua because of Greer and Ross. And so, but I agree with you, Steve. Yes, having a QB room, QB competition would be great.
Mhm.
But there's not a quarterback in this draft that I'm like, I would hope Drew Aller. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I was wrong. I'll sit here right now and tell you I'm wrong about Caleb Williams. He's going to be a stud. I didn't think he was going to be good. I didn't think he had the mental psyche to do it. Drew Aller doesn't strike me as somebody that can lead a franchise to anything, but it could be I could be biased off of what I saw last year. I saw enough the year before to like the kid, but I didn't see, and yes, maybe it's Franklin, and I'll give you that. I would not have a problem if they drafted two linebackers, a safety, and a DB, and then or an offensive lineman, and then they get a quarterback. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I just don't want to see them do that. I want to see them go all in on building what they need right now. And I want them to build the team before they get the quarterback. And so, but if Drew Aller and they pass on him in the 5th round and he becomes Josh Allen, then I'll be here. I'll be the first one to tell you I was completely wrong and the Dolphins missed. But I just don't think, I don't know. Creating QB competition is great, but you want a guy that you have in that room that you think can lead the organization for 5 to 10 years, not a guy that you're hoping could lead you want a guy that you're sure of that if he gets competition, he's going to hone his skills and he's going to become the man, because we haven't had that guy in forever. And I just don't see that quarterback in this draft. But to your original point, Ali, if they take him in the 5th or 6th round because he's there, I'm not going to have a problem with it as long as they filled their massive needs.
See,
I
my
agree
thing
with that.
is if it's the last pick in the 3rd round, which is our traded pick from
Broncos,
Denver, right?
Denver.
So
Yeah.
that's basically a 4th round pick. I understand the needs, right? But you're talking we have, is it set 6 picks in the top 100?
I think it's 7. I think it's 7 picks in the first 2 days, I think is what we have. Let me check. Let me check on that.
Yeah, something like that. Like if you spend one of those, and preferably the last one, on which I think is pick one something, right? You spend that on Drew Aller, I have no problem with that because you're putting competition in a room with a guy. Because remember, they didn't draft Quentin Ewers. Quentin Ewers was not this regime's guy. So I can't be mad that they go and get a guy that has every tool you want from a projected quarterback
Mhm.
who doesn't have an injury history that Quentin Ewers has. Because let's be honest, Ewers has a pretty decent injury history, right? Aller has the ankle, which we don't even know if that was actually a true injury or not. I had a feeling that they once the shit hits the fan, like they just sat him and went on with their day for so he could be ready for the draft, right? I think he had a lot of influence on what happened there. But you're putting a guy in there who has all the tools, all the traits you want for an NFL quarterback, who just needs a little development. Who just 2 years ago was a first round prospect. We've
Okay,
seen
you
him
just
play
said
at his
something.
best.
You just said something, and I want to know if you believe Miami is in the position to develop a quarterback finally. That's my
I
problem. I don't think we need
I
somebody that needs to develop. I think you need somebody that can go in there and play.
I believe we got the right GM coming from a place who develops quarterbacks, who
That's fair.
can put the right people in position. Because let's be honest, and this is and I love that question because we've had these talks in spaces. If they cannot develop a quarterback, we have the wrong GM and coaching staff. So it
Yep.
doesn't matter who you get.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And that's yet to be. And see, that's my. So I'll tell you this: when they hired the GM and the coach, I just sat back and I'm like, okay, it's wait and see now, because it wasn't anybody like it wasn't the guys I wanted. So maybe I'm biased and selfish, whatever. But getting these guys in here, it is now a wait and see. What are they going to do? Are they going to be a run first team? Are they going to be a play action team? Are they going to be a spread offense? Are they serious about getting tougher because they brought in some really small wide receivers? So what is this regime going to put on the field? Is it going to look different? And if it looks different, then maybe you're right. Maybe Drew Aller is somebody that they can bring in, and that's the type of offense they want to run. But until we see this offense play out, I don't have a clue what the Dolphins are going to look like this year. I don't know why they brought Malik Willis in, because are they going to run a hybrid offense? Are they going to run a lot of read option? Are they going to run a lot of, what are they going to do? And so, because Malik Willis out of college, he was the dual threat. He was a guy that could run. He was a guy that could pass. He has a cannon for an arm. But until I see what the Dolphins offense looks like and what this team looks like, and if they do get tougher, Drew Aller's a guy that fits that mold as a tough guy. So again, 5th, 6th round, no problem with it. But if I don't know. But here's my other side of it, though. If we're sitting here having this conversation about Drew Aller being and the potential that he has, he's not going to be there. And that's my issue, is that, like, if Drew Aller potentially could be the next job, we're not the only ones that see that. There's scouting departments out there that see that. And so I just don't know if Drew Aller has that potential, why is he there in the 5th round? That would be my question.
But you could make that argument about a lot of guys, right? Like,
All
why
of them
was Tom
in this draft?
Why was Tom Brady so late, right? Why did Patrick Mahomes fall as far as he did in the 1st round, right? Because again, like why did Kurt Warner get fired by the Green Bay Packers? You know what I mean? Like you can go down a long list of some of the greatest players of all time, and they're not the big 1st round draft pick guys that people thought were going to be great. Like, why was Aaron Rodgers fall to the back end of the 1st round, and he turned out to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the sport? So I get your point, because that is the reality, but also people misdiagnose. You think the Steelers are killing themselves for not taking Dan Marino?
I mean, I feel you. Well, but here's the thing, though, Steve. My only pushback on that is, if Drew Aller is that guy and they get him in the 5th or 6th round, kudos. But what is he playing with? And if he's good enough to be that guy, does he hurt our chances next year of getting the top wide receiver or a top 3, skill position player, whatever? I want to see.
Hold on.
Here's my. I was going to say, here's my stance. This is all I want to say on this, and I'll shut up. Is I want to see them build the team first and then get the quarterback. I'm tired of them getting the quarterback without the team around them. If they draft a quarterback without building the team first, that's what I mean by same old Dolphins. And Bullet Bob will tell you this thing. He's 63 years old, been asking the same thing since Marino. Why don't you go build the team first and then bring the QB in? because they don't do that. They have to do that, man. The best organizations build from the trenches out. They shore up their offensive line. They shore up their defensive line. They get decent skill position players, and then they add a quarterback, a young quarterback or a free agent quarterback, whatever. But right now, I want to see the Dolphins build the team. I'm not worried about quarterback this year. I don't want them to win a bunch of games this year. I want them to go all in next year's draft, not tank, but build a team. And if they get to 6-7 wins, great. But build the team first. That's my problem with taking a quarterback again, is you got to build the team. And I'm done.
Okay, so Mike, I got to push back just a little bit. I know we're off topic because we were supposed to be talking about spring ball, right? And we're into this NFL draft stuff. And we're going to be closing it down here in a bit, but I want to push back just a little bit. You're saying that we have to build the team first and then get the quarterback. We've already done that experiment a couple times and it hasn't worked out. We've actually been doing that since Dan Marino retired, technically. We've been doing that. That's
But when did they build the team? Okay, yeah, sorry.
Let me finish and then you can interject. All right. So we've been doing that for a long time. You said that the best teams build the team and then they put in the quarterback. Well, the one team that's been winning it the most in the last 5 years has been Kansas City, right? Kansas City got their quarterback and then built the team afterwards. And if you don't believe me, why did they have to invest millions upon millions of dollars on the offensive line and the defensive line in the pursuing years after they drafted Patrick Mahomes, right? You go look at other teams that they build. Like, for example, you look at most recently, you go look at the Patriots, for example, right? They didn't have that team built, right? That team wasn't built. They went and got Drake May. Their backup actually started before Drake May even got into the game. And they ended up he ended up having an okay first season. It was like not even okay, it was like right? And then he blew up on the scene the next year. My point is, we're not drafting Drew Aller to be the guy now. I'm drafting Drew Aller to sit down, learn the playbook, work on his mechanics and fundamental, and be ready for year 2 when I do bring in the weapon for you, because you know what my agenda is, obviously, at wide receiver for next season, right? That's what I'm bringing Drew Aller in for, right? And let's say he ends up, you're really not confident that he can be the guy just because you picked him up in the 5th or let's say the 4th round. By the way, we have 7 picks in the first 2 days of the draft, and the last pick in the third round that we have is number 94, by the way. So let's say you use that to get Drew Aller, which I don't think he goes that high. I think you can get him in the late 4th or 5th round. That's what I'm going to tell you right now. Let's say you did that. You still had 11 picks before the 4th round that you could have addressed corner. And let's talk about the defense, right? Corner, edge, linebacker, safety. You can do that in 4 picks, right? Because I really think that the one thing that all of these teams that got their quarterback first, such as the a la Cincinnati Bengals, right? They went and got their quarterback first before they built the team. They didn't have Jamar Chase in year 1. They didn't put almost $100 million plus on that offensive line till the year that they made the Super Bowl run. But actually, that was the year after they did the Super Bowl run, and it hasn't worked out since. The year that they did the Super Bowl run, they had a 7th round draft pick that we cut before training camp was even over that ended up starting for them in the Super Bowl. You know, who was a former Ohio State offensive tackle that we probably should have kept. So my point is that I don't believe you always have to build the team first, then go get your quarterback, because I really truly believe your quarterback is going to define what your team needs to look like in the first place. So I do understand some teams do it that way and they can be successful, but I also think the other way works good as well. Our problem as an organization, we've just been absolutely dog-ass trash at player development and evaluation. That's the problem. We overdrafted Noah Igbinoghene, right? We overdrafted Deion Jordan. We overdrafted a lot of players. Eichenberg, for example, right? And then we didn't really hold on to our players. Like we let Javon Holland go and left the safety position wide ass open. We decided not to really invest in the corner position like we should have, right? We just decided to pick up some free agent guys. The very last, it was the week before training camp, we decided to pick up some guys, right? My point is that I've seen us do this, what you're talking about. Build the team, wait on the quarterback. Build the team, wait on the quarterback. It doesn't necessarily work. I want us to try a different experiment at this point. That's what my point is.
Okay, but okay, so here's the thing. You listed Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be two of the first ballot Hall of Famers. They can build a team around them because of their talent.
Well,
now you go look at Joe
no,
Burrow.
Wait. No, you can't use Tom Brady in your argument because you can use that for you. That actually wins on your argument because they had the team and he came in and won it, right? Remember, he was.
Well,
he was
here's the thing, though. Well, yeah, but I'm telling you, you said they built the team after getting the quarterback. So you listed two quarterbacks that are first ballot Hall of Famers. There's not one of those in this draft.
No. Wait. Two quarterbacks. Hang on. Patrick Mahomes. Go ahead. Yes, those are the two people. Go ahead.
No, Joe Burrow. No, you mentioned Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes as your example of drafting a quarterback and then building the team. That Joe Burrow is a guy who, because they didn't build the team, he's never going to have a healthy season again. Justin Herbert, they didn't build the team first. You go down the list of Jordan Love, they're still trying to build the team around him. Bo Nix, they're trying to build a team around him. Bo Nix is a guy that Sean Payton is a genius with quarterbacks. So he's a guy, you hope could be good. That you mentioned something. You said that if they fill all their needs, I already told you, I have no problem with taking Drew Aller. But if they don't fill their needs and they draft a quarterback before building this team, then that's the same old Dolphins. This regime is not going to make the same mistakes as Chris Greer. I have faith and confidence in that. I think this regime, and you mentioned building a team, man, they've never built the actual team. They've gotten a good left tackle. They've gotten a decent defensive lineman, and they've gotten that one anchor player as far as building a team first, and then brought in quarterbacks to play. And so they need to get a center. They need to get a left. They need to have the trenches developed and then get ready for a quarterback. But again, if they draft all the needs, if they draft two linebackers, they draft a offensive lineman, they draft a DB or safety, and they get all those players before drafting Drew Aller, I have no problem with it. And what if he does turn out great? Kudos to this organization for evaluating correctly, finally, and doing that. But this whole regime change gives me hope that they're serious about getting tough. And if you want to get tough, where you start is the trenches. You don't start at the quarterback. You don't start at the linebacker. You don't start at the wide receivers. You don't start at safety. You start with the biggest, baddest mofos on the planet on your defensive line and your offensive line. They're really close to defensive line being done for at least 3 to 4 years. They are nowhere close to their offensive line being done for the next 3 or 4 years, and they're nowhere close to being tough right now. They have to bring in players that are tough, and that's why I'm wait and see is they brought in little bitty guys at wide receiver. That's not getting tougher. That's getting quicker. That's getting faster. That's stretching the field. They had all this talk about wanting to get tough. Well, show me by getting the biggest, baddest mofos in this planet, in this draft, and putting them on your team. And then if they don't pan out, awesome. You did it, though. You went and did what you said you were going to do. And that's what I want to see Miami do. Go do what you said you're going to do. If you're going to give $75 million to Malik Willis just to draft another quarterback before you build this team, that's a mistake. That's my problem. But I'm telling you again, if they fill the needs and then they draft the kid, do it. By all means, that means they really, really like him and their evaluation has been different, right? That shows you that their evaluation is different because they filled their needs first. Getting a quarterback is in my opinion, unless you have an absolute monster, a Julian Sayin, a Joe Burrow, a Justin Herbert, unless you get a monster prospect at the QB position, I don't want to see them do it again. I don't want to see them take a quarterback before the team's ready for the quarterback. I'm just tired of seeing the Dolphins do that. They've done that for 30 years. They draft a quarterback, they bring him in without the team being ready, and then he fizzles out. And that's just what they do. And so that's where I stand, is I just want to see them do it differently. And if you're going to talk about being tough, you build the damn trenches. You don't worry about a freaking quarterback. You don't worry about the wide receivers. You don't worry about you get a big body running back, but they got that in Ollie Gordon. So you build the toughness on the linebacker core in your defensive and offensive line. And if they do that and they bring in big, tough people and then get a quarterback, then I will believe that they're trying to get tougher. But because of the offseason signings and the people they're trading away, I'm at a wait and see moment. Are they really going to get tougher? Are they really going to get stronger? Are they really going to get mean guys in here to change the trajectory of this cakewalk team that we've had we're cupcake team forever, man? And so, like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't want to see them.
it wasn't.
That's where I stand.
Well,
Hold on. We brought in 3 receivers. Only one of them was small. Jason Marshall.
Jalen Tolbert ain't a big guy. Jalen
Jalen
Tolbert ain't a
Tolbert-
big guy. Tutu Atwell ain't a big guy.
Jalen Tolbert is 6'1". Terrence Marshall
About 185 pounds, right?
6'2".
Terrence Marshall is 6'2".
6'2". Jalen Tolbert's 190, I think. Like you can,
And they're all
again,
skinny guys, though. Height wise is different, dude. We've had tall wide receivers. They didn't get any big physical guys. Terrence Marshall Jr. is not a big physical guy.
See, okay, well, just so you know, number one, I think that you did something there. You made a statement that I was going to agree with, and that wasn't fair with the debate. And you brought up a monster prospect and saying Julian Sand in the same sentence. I can't argue against that. That's not fair.
I can argue against that.
I know you can argue.
Yeah, but
listen.
But it's Lenore Sellers, it's Julius Sand, it's Arch Manning. You've got quarterbacks for days next year that could be great.
I do agree with that. The next draft cycle will have probably another generational QB draft like that's crazy, like we had a couple years ago. I agree with that. I don't disagree. I just think that when you have a guy that has potential, because I don't really truly believe that Drew Aller has hit his ceiling, right? Some people think they do, but I think that's because of the system as well as the coach that he had that didn't really allow him to evolve, right? I think with the right coach and the right mindset team, which I truly think that we have with our staff and our GM and what they want to do, I think he has room to sit down, learn from the guy that's ahead of him a bit, and then show what he truly has. You understand what I'm saying? Because I truly believe that the Miami Dolphins are going to allow him to pass the ball like what they didn't allow him to do against Notre Dame in the semifinal, to give you an example, right? Now,
So if you take Drew Aller on his potential, that means you're passing on a guy next year. That's my problem.
what do you mean take him as potential? I'm going to take him in the 5th round. I already mentioned that.
No, I know, but if you're taking him, like you're saying, the mindset of you taking Drew Aller is you think you can develop him, draft and develop him, right? If you think you're going to draft and develop Drew Aller and say he shows a little bit of promise this year, you're not taking a quarterback next year when the quarterback draft is freaking loaded. That's why I don't want to take a quarterback this year.
But why is that the thought process? That's not what the Green Bay Packers thought processes have ever been. They've always brought in quarterbacks. They draft them regularly. Just because they have one, they had one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and then they drafted Aaron Rodgers. And then they've hit. Well, technically, they brought in a free agent that was their first hit. Favre.
But I'm just saying they've only hit twice. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, I know they've only hit twice, but I would rather you keep trying and not be, well, we haven't drafted a quarterback in the first 4 rounds in 6 years. So hey, let's go ahead and go try that again. And then we get the Skylar Thompsons, and we drafted him in 7th round. He's a development, right? That works. I don't want to do Tannehill and then wait to get Tua again. I don't want to keep doing that. I want to.
I agree with you, Steve. But you're a draft guy. Why would you take a flyer on a quarterback this year when the entire draft is loaded? You can get 5 quarterbacks next year that can start for you for 10 years, as long as they don't get hurt. The potential right now on paper, there's about 5 quarterbacks that could change the trajectory of your team next year. So why take a flyer? I just want to know why you would take a flyer this year when you, by all means, with the team you have set up right now, are going to be in a position to take a game changer next year. So why would you take a flyer this year?
because if I miss on the flyer this year, I at least attempted to put QB competition in the room, and
That's fair.
I still get my quarterback next year. If I hit on the quarterback this year, I can still go get another one next year, and whoever pans out, I can trade the other one away because they're probably still a good player. So I can recoup assets off of that player.
And I don't mind that. Like again, I would not mind them taking him 5th or 6th round if their needs are filled. And if he is a flyer and if he does what Ali thinks he can do, then you're set up, dude. So I get the mindset behind it. Like I'm not saying don't do it. I just want them to get mean.
You
I want
wanted
them
to
to
get
get
it right.
bigger. Yeah, not necessarily right. I just want to see them do something. I want to see the Dolphins do what they say they're going to do and like actually do it. And if dude, I'm 42 years old, Steve. I've never seen this team do anything they said they were going to do. They do the exact opposite.
Quick hot take, real quick. I think that a lot of this is speculation based on what we think they're going to do. They do have one other chip in their bag that they haven't pulled yet, that the rumors are that we could actually do in this draft, and that's trade away Achane, right? Or
I think he's gone.
Brooks.
I think him and Brooks are both gone. I think they're both gone because that shows.
If they let me just finish on this because I do want to kind of move us along here. If they do trade away Brooks and Achane, or just one of them, let's just say Achane because that's really the bigger chip in my opinion. Let's say you did that. Then that's telling you all you need to know. They don't have the QB in their room, right? They are going to probably be defensive heavy. It's because every rookie QB needs to have a solid defense on their team. And that's actually kind of what happened to Burrow. Even though it wasn't his rookie season, it was his sophomore season that he made the run to the Super Bowl. It was because of the fact that they were playing solid defense on that team. They weren't the best top end defense, they just were solid and well coached. And that's something we need to have is a solid defense. And you need to address the defensive holes, which in my opinion are a corner, safety, and edge, right? Those are your biggest holes right now. Linebacker will be a hole if you trade Brooks. I still think we need another linebacker, so you could say that's one of your main targets. But I think that's what you should focus on in this draft. Quarterback, if we're in the 5th or 6th round and he's the best player available, maybe we do it. But I take
him.
What?
I would take him if he's the best on the board. Take him because that's a different Miami mindset.
Yeah,
if he's the best player on the board, take him.
The only thing about saying best on the board, like I and Ali and I has had this conversation. I hate that phrase because no one has a similar, like boards can be similar, but nobody has the same board, right? So what may be the best guy on your board is not the same best guy on my board, which is the same best guy on Ali's board.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If they take the best guy on their board, that's what I'm getting at. Like everybody has their own board. Every team has their own board. There's a consensus for maybe 10 picks, right? But it's not based on now. I would say the top 15 players should be. You don't pass, even if it's not a need, and you have a top 15 pick. You take the best player available. Period. And then just like the Cowboys did when CeeDee Lamb was there, they weren't going to take a wide receiver, but he was the best on the board when they got to them. And so, like, if Drew Aller is the best on Miami's board when it comes to the 5th round and they take him, I don't have a problem with it because that means they got everybody else they wanted.
Yeah. I kind of see what you're saying, but
it really needs to come to the draft show so we can actually really debate this when we're not doing college.
Where have you been for the last 2 weeks, Mike? We needed you. We've been talking about the draft synopsis and what could happen and what teams should do and everything. We did a show where we broke down every team's biggest needs and what players could go where. And everything. So that was the show you should have really been on. But Mike, I really enjoyed having you today. I miss you, bro. I miss you. I know you got a new venture going on. Check out Magic Mike Cards, right? I'm telling you, all of your sports cards needs.
Hey, let me
go to.
give me like 2 minutes to show off these things really quick so they can kind of get a gist of some of the quality cards we have.
Let me put you the main. Let me see how I can get you as the solo. Hold on. So no. Oh, I guess I just do that.
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. All right, guys. So I'm going to run through. These are the cards that I'm getting. Oh, these are the cards I'm getting graded. These will be sent off to Beckett. I've got 35 of them. I'm just going to show you 20. But we've been really diligently hunting for quality cards, and these are some of them we have. So we got a case hit Jaden Higgins Zebra. So that one came out of a $600 box. Then we've got the same box, but a different, the same type of box. But this one is a Sam Darnold tie dye, which is another case hit. There's only 25 of these cards made.
That card is sick.
We've got, man, this is my favorite card I've pulled. It's Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and Brian Jordan all on one card auto. They're all three played multi-sport. They all play baseball and football. Brian Jordan was a better baseball player than he was football, but you know Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders. Then I've got a Cam Scattaboo RPA where he has his autograph as Scat. That's pretty cool. There's only 49 of those. I've got a Blake Corum, another RPA. There's only 49 of this, and that one's sick because it's two colored. Marvin Harrison Jr. for you Buckeyes. There's an Uptown. These ones. So this is a really cool story. I've been chasing Uptowns, Downtowns. Go ahead.
How much for that Sam Darnold one?
Well, I'm getting it graded, but when it comes back, I'll let you know, bro. You can have first bid on it. And then this one is so we were chasing these ones, Uptowns, Downtowns, and Color Blasts. My brother-in-law decides to get in on this business and pulled this out of a $30 tin from Walmart. Bro, we've opened hundreds and hundreds of boxes and never found this card. So that one's a really good one. We've got the Colston Loveland to 20. So this is a red scope. So that one's getting graded. And we've got, the hottest quarterback as far as cards right now is Jackson Dart. Those two are only numbered to 49. Here's another Ohio State alum, Emeka Egbuka. There's only 10 of these out there. This is number 7 of 10. We got a Tyler Shugg, who's a hot name right now. There's another Uptown. My buddy and I paid $200 for this card. It'll turn into $1,000.
That card Ali showed earlier of Jackson Smith. That card was, dude, that card is sick, man.
It's cool. So this one is this is a really cool case hit called a Kaleidoscope. Obviously Colston Loveland, you know who he is, so he's on his way up.
Where do you buy from?
I go to card shops. I'll buy retail from Walmart and Target, but and honestly, GameStop is a little hidden gem for cards right now. They stock a lot of the ones that you can't find at the retail stores. You go to places in person.
You go around and find places in person.
Now, and I've bought some of these off other breakers, other business people that are in the business with me. And then I've got Alter Ego. This is another what you call case hit. And a case hit is they only put one of these in an entire case with at least 20 boxes.
Is that Aikman?
No, it's Roger Staubach.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've got Trey McBride to 15. So that's a really cool one. These are very rare to find. There's only 15 of those. This is my favorite card that we have. There's only 25 of these, and this is Sean Taylor. And if you know who he is, he's a beast. That one's actually worth probably the most expensive card I have in my hand.
One that passed away?
This one, he was the one that was murdered. This one is it just sold for $700 as it sits in my hand, and none of them have been graded. So when we get this back, it's what
you already sold it for damn.
So it's called a Pop 1. And so this card, once it's graded, is the only one in existence that's graded. So this one is going to be a massive card.
What?
Then we've got Josh Allen Color Blast. So this is the one that my
calm
there's
down,
only been
Mikey K. Calm down.
Yeah. And then we've got a Siobhan Ravel. And then I actually have, oh man, I don't know where it is, but I actually have an Ashton Genty that has a diamond in the card. It's out of a National Treasures break. I gotta find it, but
check this out. I picked this up recently. It's a patch Trey Harris rookie card.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then just to give you an idea of the card market, I just sold 120 cards 3 weeks ago for $4,000.
Sweet.
There
Yeah,
you go.
so the card market is
I
like
mean,
the stock market, but those are some of my best cards,
It's the
guys.
same as it's pretty much
It's
'cause
stock market.
that's what Cap and I, we were huge. Has he ever shown you his Dan Marino card?
Is it
No.
14 karat gold? Because I have that card.
So wait till you see he has a misprint card
Yeah, those are pretty awesome, dude.
of Dan Marino.
So you see that, Tonk?
Yeah.
That's an actual diamond. It's a 23 karat, 1 carat or half carat or
That's
something like
sick.
that diamond. Yeah, and so there's only 25 of these. This is a massive card.
I'm so glad that football cards haven't lost it hasn't we haven't lost it as a culture because
So we did though.
for a while. We did for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to explain to you what happened really quick. And so this is why I got into the business. So in 1990 through 95, it's called the junk wax era, and they just mass produced a ton of cards, so they're not valuable, right? You get a couple rookies like like Derek Jeter came out in 96. Like you get a couple of the rookies that are worth money from 90 to 95, but really nothing. But what happened is in 2019, a bunch of collectors started gathering Luka Doncic cards. And so they hoarded them all, right? Well, in 2022, his rookie card sold for $4.6 million or $3.6 million, I think, and it reset the card market. So literally overnight, it jumped 400% as far as the card market. Well, the most expensive card to ever sell just happened. That Pikachu from Logan Paul sold for $16.4 million. And so it shot the market back up again. And now Topps just got exclusive licensing for MLB, NFL, and NBA. So Panini is no longer licensed. So now we're in an unknown era of cards because Topps just released actually tomorrow's release day for the very first Topps NFL licensed product since 2015. And so it's going to reset the market again. But the cool thing about Topps is they do on-card autos. So this is what you call an on-card auto. This Tyler Shug is what you call a sticker auto. So you can't see it in my camera, but that's an actual sticker. So he signed about 150 stickers and then they just stick them to the card. Topps does on-card autos. And so on-card autos are worth way more. So we're really, really interested to see what happens with Topps now taking over. But the cool thing about Panini and the older cards you have is 10 years from now, you can't get them anymore. And so they're going to be worth more money. So right now, any of your big Panini cards, if you're a collector and you think about possibly flipping them one day, hold all of your big Panini cards for about 5 to 7 years and their market's going to skyrocket again. And so it's literally the card market does this. It's just like the stock market, but football will do this during the season and then plateaus and then goes back up and then plateaus in the offseason. Baseball dips with performance. Basketball, unless it's a LeBron James, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Wemby, unless it's a top guy, it does the same thing. It dips with performance.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as we have our superstars and we have cards like ones that you just showed us that have all this additives like jerseys and diamonds and graphics and stuff, it'll keep it alive.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is, and it's still so like guys like me do this for the kids too. Like there's a bunch of breakers, there's a bunch of collectors out there that I see them fight at my Walmart down here in Texas all the time to get the boxes. So like they kill it for kids. The kids are missing out, and so you have people like me. You have people like King of Cards. I absolutely love King of Cards. You've got people like Card Collector 2. These guys that are still doing it for the kids, and so like. I've seen multiple King of Cards has millions and millions and millions of dollars of inventory, and he'll have a $200, $300 card, and a kid will come up with $20, and he'll just kind of get the kid talking. And then his whole motive is because he wants the kid to like kind of start negotiating. And then King of Cards will be like, okay, what's the best you can give me? And then he'll say, all right, handshake deal. And then he takes $20 for a $200 card. And so like we still try to do it for the kids. And like my daughter loves being involved with the business. She helps me get all the stuff ready to ship. She helps me tape all the cards and everything. And so you are right. That's the reason I love this business and the reason I've gotten into this industry. And I frankly dropped between my two investors and myself, we've dropped over 20K into this business already, is because It's not going away. It's a childhood hobby that has come back roaring with a vengeance. And it's like now it's something that can legitimately build a future for my kids where they can work with me at the card shop. And we have a brick and mortar that's being, we're signing all the paperwork and everything should be open by the end of the year. And so that's why I do this is exactly what you just said. Your excitement that cards is still a thing
Yeah.
is why I get to provide joy for so many people now.
Sweet.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you, bro. Let's get into the bottom line because I gotta need to shut down things here pretty much. Let me get everyone back on the screen. Here we go.
Where will your store be located? What city?
It's going to be in Stephenville, Texas.
How close is that to fuck, where does my brother live? He lives, where's that city that's kind of, I think it's in West Texas. It's kind of famous for
Odessa.
That FBI
Midland.
situation.
Waco.
Yeah, he lives in Waco. How far is that from Waco?
About an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
That's not that far compared to Texas. As big as Texas is, you're only that far away.
I drive an hour and a half to every single card shop. That's just how it is in Texas. It's like that's the closest shop I can get to is an hour and a half away.
And that's the bottom line. Drive an hour and a half to your nearest card shop as soon as you can. No, I'm just kidding. I had to do it, Matt. Like I was waiting for a perfect.
And that's how you get it done, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for coming out. Let's get into final thoughts. Me and Steve got some work to do behind the scenes and stuff. Want to get done on that. So, Mike, thank you for having you here. It was amazing. I know you also do a thing, Dads Supporting Dads. How's that going? Tell people.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'll be my final thought, actually. So if you're on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, any of I don't know about Facebook because I'm not on there, but if you're on any of the platforms, guys, look up Dads Supporting Dads. It is the coolest movement I've ever been a part of. It is dads all over the world that get together. They encourage each other. They lift each other up. I've had 3 people contact me off of social media for encouragement and going through depression and mental health battles and not feeling adequate enough for their family. Dads Supporting Dads is the coolest movement I've ever seen across any social media period, because like it's literally I have 3,200 followers on Twitter or on Instagram right now, and probably 2,800 of those are dads from all over the world that literally are banding together because the whole movement started because they were tired of seeing these old OF girls, OnlyFans girls, making all this money and doing all this stuff while all the dads are out here struggling just to put food on their families' tables. So they started this Dad Supporting Dads movement to get us all to support each other, to grow to where we can start making that passive income off of social media by selling products and things like that. So I strongly encourage you across all social media platforms, get linked up with Dad Supporting Dads. And it is the coolest thing for my mental health that has ever happened, and like being able to share with other dads who go through the same type of struggles, and just realizing that you're not alone has been the biggest and coolest thing ever.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Check out Magic Mike Cards. His links are in the description, both his TikTok and his whatnot. Check out the next break. Big break this weekend, Saturday, right? Big break Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, 18th. Here it is, guys. This is hang on, let me take my thing off. And this is the last thing I'll say and show off, but I do want to show you. So the greatest quarterback class out of the last 10 to 15 years was 2024 as far as cards. This is a full case of 2024 Phoenix. So there's case hits, there's numbered, there's autos. We're hunting for Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, you want to come check out, I'll be on Whatnot. It's under Magic Mike's Cards. The spots will be available. You can buy in. Ali's got experience. It's really fun and it kind of exhilarating and tons of endorphins and adrenaline when you're watching these cards being opened and I start teasing that, hey, it's your team you paid for, and then it ends up being a massive card. So it's a really, really cool thing to be involved in. If you want to get in and support the business, great. If you want to come just watch, you can kind of see what we do.
Definitely. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Tong, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. It's,
Thank you. Definitely.
Nice to chop it up with y'all. So
Definitely. Steve, why don't you shut us down? Tell me what you got for your final thoughts.
I think despite the runoff into other things, I'm excited to see what happens with these teams during spring training and spring practice, and then ultimately the spring game. Right there's a lot of these teams, despite this quarterback class coming next year. There's a lot of these teams that have young quarterbacks that are in competition with each other. So it's an exciting time for college football. We're almost to the draft. We got spring, and then next thing you'll know it, August is here, and we're starting another college football season.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm glad you brought that up. There is going to be big time quarterback battles throughout several programs. I think both Iowa teams, Iowa State and Iowa, have a QB battle. South Florida, University of South Florida has a QB battle going on. Or I don't know if it's really a competition, because I think the LSU kid is going to get the win, to be honest. That's just my opinion. Tennessee has a war. There's a three-way battle going on there. But check out Saturday. Several spring games are going to be on several networks. The Ohio State game is Saturday. That's a big game. I want to say Miami plays at 10:15 a.m. They have their big spring game as well. There's I want to say there's 43. It's 43 games this weekend of spring football. So definitely check it out. Next Tuesday is big week. It's draft week. So let's talk about that real quick. We lost Magic Mike again. That's fine. Next Tuesday is huge. Tuesday, it will be where we release our draft, our one and only full-blown 4th and 10U mock draft, right? We will discuss it and chop it up. Check it out next Tuesday. In addition to that, we will be live that Thursday starting 7 p.m. Eastern time. 7 p.m. Eastern time, we will be live here and on TFTG. It's the TFTG takeover. We are going to take over the network. We're going to be live Thursday, 7 p.m. We're going to be live on Friday and on Saturday during the draft as well. We're going to be dropping the link. You guys can come up, chop it up with us. We will individually analyze and discuss every pick as it happens. It's going to be very exciting. There's going to be a lot of information, so much to talk about. Hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. But people in the chat, I appreciate everybody that was here. Raphael Courtright, Michael K, Niners, CCRR, everybody. Over the Par, I think is the person's name. That was friend of Mike's. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure you share the channel. We're trying to grow the channel. When we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to be giving away and raffling off some stuff. So stay tuned for that. But ultimately, Mike, we need you for draft week. We need you big time. Appreciate everyone. Everybody hit the like button. Until next time, we'll see you.